Let's continue with the topics of module 6. Okay, so now before we go into detail to the content about stress and rhythm, watch this video. What what can you get from this? Okay, you see that the way he uses grammar is perfect. Okay, maybe the pronunciation of segments is okay. Okay, but there is something there that is not quite okay. Okay, let's go. Okay, we're going to see that um, stress and rhythm are supra-segmental aspects that give the overall shape to the word or sequence of words. Okay, of course, that if you want to achieve intelligibility, okay, it's very important to give words their correct accentual pattern and rhythm. Okay, maybe with this person that we saw in the video, that was a famous, well, and not so popular uh, Minister of Economy in our country, you may see that the 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 rhythmic pattern that he used and the accentual pattern that he used was too Spanish. You see, okay? Because, for example, the pronunciation of a word with an appropriate accentual and rhythmic pattern, for example, important, for example, as important, makes the word unintelligible. So you see, important, yes, it makes the word unintelligible not only because of the misplaced main stress, okay, that distorts the shape of the word, but also because there is no one stressing of the other syllables. So you see, important, okay. So there is no stressing of the other syllables, which the consequent phonetic reductions. Okay, take a look at the example there. Okay, if we place prominence to all the words in that sentence, that of course will be unintelligible. Yes, if you say you should have asked about it earlier, okay, it's too Spanish. Okay, that's why assigning the right stress pattern, okay, at the word, not only at the word but also at the phrase level, and learning to produce unstressed syllable is the most productive device for getting an adequate pronunciation of English. So you should have asked it about earlier, would be the most appropriate. Another aspect, okay, of different nature is that concerning the grammatical difference between the strong and weak forms of some words. Okay, you know that we have been discussing about this for months, okay, and also in last year. In this case, it is the presence or absence of stress which indicates the syntactic function of the word. Okay, for example, that, the word that, as a demonstrative, always has the full form, okay, and is usually stressed. For example, you say, I want that book, okay, but the relative that or the conjunction that always have the weak form, okay. For example, this is the one that I want, or I think that he's right, okay. The effects of stress show the importance not only for what it contributes to the correct pronunciation in English, but for its effects on intelligibility due to its lexical and syntactic function. Okay, that's why we're going to say once again, practicing English pronunciation of terms of stressing and non-stressing should be regarded as an important learning task. Okay. Stress shift, okay, and we're going to see some details, some examples of stress shift. Okay, when you see the word shift, you have to think about movement, change. Okay, we know that in English, one syllable in each word is regarded as the most prominent. Okay, that carries main lexical stress. You know, lexical stress. For each word, the location of this main stress is specified by the dictionary, okay, which we can observe in the short answers in one. Okay, so you see, where does he come from? Taken from the dictionary, it is Tennessee. When does he come? In the afternoon. You see. But under certain circumstances, stress may shift to a different syllable in the word. Okay, usually it is to an earlier syllable. Okay, for example, we're not going to say Tennessee Valley, but Tennessee Valley, or afternoon tea, but afternoon tea. Yes, take a look at the example below, number 3. Okay, let's take the phrase in ideal girlfriends. Yes, usually, okay, if we have girlfriends, okay, we're going to shift stress. So we're going to say, John and Ben have been searching for an acceptable partner. They will never find their ideal girlfriends. Okay, but we want to emphasize there, okay, we're not going to follow the rule of stress shifting. We're going to say that John and Ben have been searching for an acceptable partner. They will never find their ideal girlfriends. Okay, and then we're going to return to the canonical form, that is to say, the form that we may find in the dictionary. Okay, so sometimes we do not choose the words according to the lexical stress pattern, the one that we find in dictionaries, but to the meaning that we want to express and the form in which we want to convey the meaning. Okay, English rhythm, okay, it is apart from being conditioned by the principle of stress timing, is characterized by the principle of rhythmic alternation. Okay, it is argued that the structure which does not observe the stress alternation principle, okay, because maybe a lot of stresses appear next to each other, or there are a lot of unstressed syllables in phrase or in an utterance, will be modified by the rhythm rules to get more closely to the rhythmic alternation. There are certain tendencies, okay, as regards this. Okay, for example, if a series of content words appear next to each other, some stresses are dropped. For example, you have John's friend wants to get home before midnight. You see, a lot of stresses. But in order to be more rhythmical and to follow this rhythmical alternation, we're going to say that John's friends wants to get home before midnight. Or instead of BBC or Big Blue Eyes or 582, we're going to say BBC, Big Blue Eyes or 582. You see? If an utterance consists of a succession of unstressed function words, you know function words are articles, auxiliary verbs, preposition, stresses are added to produce a more regular rhythm. Okay? For example, he should have been here earlier. We know that being or maybe earlier are possible, but we may say that he should have been here earlier. Also that sometimes, okay, that for example you say, if you're right, we should be getting there soon, or we should be getting there soon if you're right. In that case, if, when it is in initial position, is stressed, but when it is in middle position, it is not stressed. But also note that if and as are not likely to be stressed when immediately followed by a stress syllable. For example, as head of the department, I can't allow you to do. Or if worse comes to worse, we'll just drop it. We don't say as head of, no. Or if worse, no. If worse comes to worse, we'll just drop it. The third tendency, okay, the third and final tendency is that if two stresses are next to each other in a phrase, for example, a Japanese student or afternoon tea, the first stress, okay, the first stress is moved to the preceding strong syllable. So that's why you're going to say Japanese student and afternoon tea. We're going to do that in order to space out the stresses. Okay, so that has to do with stress shift. Okay. Another aspect that we may consider is this of the accentuation, okay, and the accentuation of words in connected speech. Okay, the accentuation, the placement of prominence, and the accentuation of words is largely influenced by the context. Okay, that is to say, the word that the speaker wishes to highlight. Okay, there are a number of circumstances governing this placement of prominence. Okay, for example, words expressing new information are accented, while words expressing all the given information, that is to say, the words that contain semantically predictable information, are de-accented. For example, you say, I've lost my jacket. It's a leather jacket of synthetic leather. Okay, so that's why you see there that some of them are accented, okay, and the others are de-accented. Number two is, for example, when the speaker wishes to place special emphasis on particular elements, okay, we are going to accent those words, okay, that we want to highlight. Okay, for example, you say, how did you like the movie? I really enjoyed it. And finally, when the speaker needs to contrast parallel elements, they are accented. Okay, you told me you'd come with me. No, you said so. Okay, so in that way you are going to accent those words that are important for the listener. Okay, so this is about accenting and de-accenting and stress shift. Okay, so thank you, and let's move on to the next video.